Thanks for joining the HomeMatters podcast with Eric and Gena Boggs, where they lead authentic, raw discussions about marriage, family life, kids, intimacy, and sex from a biblical perspective. Now here's your host, Eric and Gena Boggs.
Well, welcome
to
HomeMatters, episode number 1.
Podcast 1. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
We are pumped.
So excited to have you with us today.
That's right. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you will make this a weekly appointment.
A regular.
Right? Regular appointment. Make it a priority.
Yeah,
your
make
home
it a
matters.
habit in your life.
That's right.
We'll be airing once a week, and we're excited about the possibilities of this podcast. So.
That's right. I'm Gena Boggs.
I'm Eric, and we are married 35 years in, and
That's right. Be 36 in just a month or so.
Just a few days.
That's right.
So with that, we're just we want to say that we come to you still after 35 years, still in love.
That's right. I'd do it all over again.
Every day?
No.
Every day.
Most every day. I mean, I would do it all over again every day, but I wouldn't redo every single day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would marry every day, but I wouldn't have every day. Can I say it that way?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so we've had some good days and bad days like everybody.
That's right. Life, right? L-I-F-E. That's what life is all about. Good days, bad days. But in all of that, man, God's been good to us. And we are firsthand witnesses of how just trying to do things God's way works in raising a family and having a great marriage. Yep. And that's what we want to share with you.
Yeah, we look over these years, and again, like we've said, there were some times that you would want to do over, but again, after all these years, we feel like we're at a place after raising 4 kids and 3 daughters and a son, and got a couple of son-in-laws and a daughter-in-law, and
don't forget the grandbabies.
Never forget the grandbabies. 5 grandchildren.
5 amazing grandbabies.
Feel like we're at a place that maybe we can help somebody, just the grace of God that has been on our life to just encourage you to know that in all of your efforts, you can have a home.
Amazing family life, right? Yep. We have not been perfect. Can we say that right from the beginning? Made a lot of mistakes.
I've been a lot more perfect than she's been, but
yeah, that's what he likes to say. But
no, we know the truth.
The truth is that God is good, and God's been gracious, and man, He's enabled us, to get to this point in life.
Yeah,
yeah. There were days I didn't know if I'd get to this point in life.
We pastor church. Been at the church we pastor, Beach Springs Church, for 32
in Pelzer,
years.
South Carolina.
Big city of Pelzer, south of Greenville, South Carolina. You may know that marker a little better than Pelzer.
That's right. Yeah, you can check the church out on beachsprings.org. We'd love for you to do that.
Yep.
I also have led a family and marriage ministry called HomeMatters. Ta-da, that's the name, HomeMatters Podcast. And Marriage Matters, right?
Yeah.
Getaways.
And we do these things called Marriage Matters Getaways. You can go to homematters.family.
That's right. Check that out.
Find out more about that. But again, we're just coming to you saying that, hey, we believe that your home matters, your marriage, your family, and just speaking from that place. Because again, the message that we want to try to relay during these podcasts is that, again, where we've been from, things we've seen, we believe that is possible for every home.
That's right. Man, just being in ministry for 30 plus years, we've had the great opportunity just to deal with a lot of marriages, a lot of homes, family situations, and man, times when even just I personally, can I just say this? I thought, I just don't know, God, if this one's gonna make it or not.
Yeah,
and
just
even
real
in
life
those
stuff,
times,
right?
Yeah, we've just seen God work when people would commit to God's way and what He's called them to. And so we know God's way works, and we want to share that with you in this time.
Yeah, we over this time we'll talk about a lot of different stuff, but again, primarily we believe that God can build strong families and enrich marriages, and again, take from maybe our bloopers or our mistakes and
Yeah.
and the good things as well, good times that we've learned from, and we've learned from a lot of the bad times as well. But
That's so
again,
true. Man, as we share with you too, we're just say up front, it's going to be just authentic. We're real people. Eric and I are, we just are who we are. And again, by the grace of God, but it'll just be authentic, maybe raw sometimes in our discussions.
I've been told that.
Yeah, you've been told that about, home and family life, about marriage, relationships, sexuality, all those things. We believe
Yeah.
God has something to say about all of that. So
We just believe that every marriage can remain alive and vibrant.
That's
and
right.
Again, it doesn't have to be downhill from the I do's, and we'll talk more about that. But again, we just believe that in that we'll talk some about those things that can keep it alive and keep it vibrant. We'll talk about things like raising kids.
oh yeah, that's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah,
We survived raising 4, and man, ours were so close together. The youngest of 4 was born when the oldest was 6. So those are those days I'm talking about. I didn't know if I'd make it to this point, but
but again, there
did.
was so much that we drew from that. And again, raising our kids and watching them grow, and still a big part of our life and ministry as well. So
that's right. And just about navigating relationships. Listen, God, we believe, created us for relationship. Our relationships in our life are important. And even so,
How many
they're
of
very
you-
hard to navigate sometimes.
you know well as I do, what we've seen is you have to navigate all kinds of relationships.
That's right.
Some of the toughest ones sometimes are family, extended family. We'll address that along the way. We've got a big extended family. And,
We do.
Again, a lot of other relationships in our community, our neighbors, everybody. You have to navigate, and we'll talk about that a lot along the way, I think,
all
as
that
well.
all that matters.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
Because your
Home matters.
home matters, right?
And what happens in your home matters.
Yep.
Hey,
Pretty
here's
catchy
the
there.
bottom line, though. Can we say this? Everything's going to be biblically based.
Yeah.
Christian worldview,
Yep.
God's design for homes. That's our desire. That's the way that we have tried our best to build our home.
Yep.
And again, we've already said it, but it works.
It does. And if it's not for God's ways, we are lost. And He is so kind and gracious to us that He'll
Yes,
show
He
us.
is.
He provides us an instruction manual. So we believe that for you and for us. And we've seen
good.
it time and again where we just had to lock in the principle and stay with it. And God's principle always produces.
To
So
be committed to what He asks us to do. Right? So here's a big question I think we might need to answer right off the top is why another podcast? There are a lot of them out there, Eric,
Right
on
time.
home and
podcast,
family, podcast
marriage.
everywhere. Yes. So
There are tons. If you go on the podcast, do a search for marriage, or
that's right.
I don't know how many came up when I began to search this thing out, but
I don't know.
we can say that there's some unique things. We believe, like we said, we believe that home matters so much in our world that we're in today.
Yeah. And honestly, we just believe we have something to add to that discussion. And not, again, that we've done everything perfect or that we have all the answers. But we just know what God's done in our life. We know how He's graced us in areas where, man, we needed it bad.
And I
right?
don't believe if really biblically based discussions on marriage and family, I don't think you can have too many.
That's right.
And we're not here to try to carve our niche, or I guess we could say that we will have a niche. But again, I think that all of us together, it takes us all together. And we're stronger together to be able to build marriage. And
That's right.
we say it this way all the time. We need more champions for marriage because it's a good thing with a bad reputation. And family's something that has drifted in the day we're living in our society. So we just believe there's a place for that. And there's things
That's
that
right.
we may can say along the way that we've learned.
I'll say this, hey, coming through, I needed all the help I can get. I mean, as a wife, as a mother,
I could have used more than I got.
yeah, I could have too. So
I read the books and
yeah, I would read the books and the articles, and we didn't have podcast.
I probably needed somebody along the way that would probably come along and bring some real correction
some discipline. You needed some discipline.
Some things along the way that probably a older man or somebody could have helped me to see different.
That's right. Well, I just think wherever you can gain some help and gain some knowledge and get some insight, into raising family and, how to do marriage well, how to be that marriage champion you're talking about. So, man, we hope you'll tune in with us. We're not the only one. Listen, get all the help you can get.
Yeah.
But, hey, make us a part of your schedule. We'd love that, right?
Yeah. The name Home Matters kind of, we believe that what happens in your home matters.
That's easy enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not just a play on words. We believe that. The relationships in your home, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your children, even your extended family, that flows over into everything else you do. All right? Just practically. I mean, man, if you have a blowout in the morning with your spouse, when you show up at work, I have a feeling most everybody knows, hey, something's going on with them today, unless you're just a really good faker, right? We do that in church sometime. We walk in. I'm good.
Put on a happy
I'm good.
face, yeah.
I'm good, but we just had a blowout on the way to church. So.
Yeah, but again, the way you handle the victories and defeats along the way.
That's right.
Again, it'll develop your home. It'll develop your family.
The victories, the defeats, even the way you handle the successes and the wins in your life. All of those things, what's going on inside of our home all the time, inside those closest relationships that we have, it affects everything. So that's why we just take those words and say, hey, what happens at home matters.
Yeah, what's going on inside will affect the outside, right? And again, God knows that we need plenty of help today with the world that we're in.
We need
trouble.
Strong families.
Yeah, and I'm not the guy that is always looking at the bad and the negative. I'm the glass half full guy. I'm not the glass half empty. But I do know that we're at a critical place, and just when you hear some of the stats, and we'll use those along the way, I'm sure, but when you hear some of the numbers and you have to face those, and in our own communities, in our own towns, we're a small city in South Carolina, and again, when we see some of those numbers, it's frightening, kind of alarming, and we just believe that somewhere this thing can turn. We believe the tide can turn and things can be different. We believe your home will matter wherever you are. And
absolutely believe that. If we didn't believe that, we would not have, poured the years that we have into this, because we just believe there can be a change in our community. But we do believe that change will start in the home, in the family unit. That's where it's going to start.
Yeah, and you say that it's 20 plus years now.
Yeah.
This is our first podcast, but it's 20 plus years now that we've been intentional about trying to strengthen families and marriage.
That's right. Man, that makes me feel old.
That's gone by so
20
quick.
years.
You still look so young, though.
Oh, and, thank you.
Again, I know that as we look back, again, we've seen the difference that has been made. Some people who, and again, we've seen the tragedy along the way of families that are
That's right.
Separated, splintered, and again, we don't believe that has to be the course that people take.
No.
And, let's just say this: if you're at a place today that your family's kind of in a strained place, it's a good starting place.
That's right, man.
Get back on track.
One day at a time, right? One decision at a time. That's really what it comes down to. Not just one day, but just 1 minute, one decision at a time. So
as we start out, we just want to make sure that we do make it clear that we're focusing on God's original, what God intended from the start as family.
That's right.
If you go right back to the beginning, God's original intent to be the place that the human race would be perpetuated, that it would be that from that original family. From that, we would see the entire human race develop. So,
now let's take those words and flip them a little bit, because we talk about what happens in our home mattering. Okay, but the same thing. There are many matters of the home. How many of you know that? There are lots of things that we have to deal with, things we have to address, and things we have to handle. Whether it's in, the
just
marriage
our relationship,
or with
dealing with
children.
the kids, or.
Yeah, they bring up things sometimes, don't they? But here's the great thing we found. You're not left alone. I think there are a lot of homes and families now, a lot of people I hear it all the time. We don't know what to do about this. You just want to throw up your hands sometime and say, what's the use? Where are the answers? I think we found the answers. They're in God's way, and you don't have to parent alone. Listen,
Exactly
even as a single parent, can I just call out to you today and say, you do not have to parent alone.
Yeah.
Thank God He's with us. He's given us a way. The creator, the originator, the founder, if you will, of family, of marriage.
It was God's big idea.
It was His
for marriage
idea.
and family.
That's right.
And all that comes along with that. It was God's big idea. So again, we want to be intentional about the light that God places on our path and places on our journey as we journey together as couples, as we journey together sometimes in single parent roles.
Right.
Those are reality, blended families, all of those. So we want to make sure that we allow the light of God's word and His truth to be cast upon our path.
These are God-created institutions, and God has a lot to say about. He's given us the marriage manual. Can we say it that way? The home and family, the how to raise your kids manual in that book that we've heard of, the Bible.
Yeah, the people manual.
The people manual. That's a good thing to call it for relationship, right?
The people manual. Yeah, that's what we call the Bible, the people manual. It tells us really, though, our perspective, God's perspective on life, on family, on how to live this thing, how to live it in such a way that you honor Him, that you reflect good upon our Creator. And again, if it's His big idea, it's a good thing.
We're not left to trial and error.
Right.
Now, I know there are things in family sometimes, especially with your kids, maybe trial and error. You just have to, each kid you have to deal with differently. We did anyway. Ours were very different.
Not just kids, though. Again, it starts with us.
Starts with us. So trial and error may be part of it, but the principles are always the same. The way we apply that principle, in different relationships may change. So the application may change, but the principles of God, those are the same. They stay the same.
Yeah, they translate into a lot of different places, don't they?
Absolutely. They
Especially
translate
in our
into
relationships.
many different generations as well.
You don't have to go through life just always trying to figure it out.
That's right.
There are answers that are there. And again, we have through the years, we've used this passage of Scripture as Psalms 127. It's kind of our foundational.
That's right.
It's
Love
our base camp. And we always use this verse, unless the Lord builds a house, they that labor in vain.
Man, I don't know about you, but we don't have time to waste, right? We don't need our labors to be in vain, but we need them to be profitable and productive. That's the word I was really trying to say. Be productive. So unless the Lord builds a house, He's already told us. So let's just build it His way. On down in that passage, I love, hey, for those of you that are striving right now, raising a family and raising kids, you might need to post this one on the refrigerator. Children are a gift from...
They're a gift from God.
They're
a
a
gift from the Lord.
From God, yeah.
And again, it defines it this way. It kind of describes it. They're like arrows in the hand of an archer.
I love that word picture,
and, Yeah, I just believe that in that we raise our children with that idea in mind, that we're preparing them to propel or project them out into a world we're living in. So again, that's our opportunity. That's our privilege. It's not just a hardship. It's not just heartache. And
that's right.
Again, we believe
it is
that
work.
Yeah,
it is work. But man, what the payoff is, and what the reward is for that. And again, that's why what happens in our home matters. Man, we are projecting, shooting like arrows, our children, grandchildren into the next generation. So what's going on right now in my house, in your house, man, it matters not only for today, but tomorrow, next week, and in future generations.
Yep. As we close out today, again, we want you to join us every week.
That's right.
We'll be talking a lot of different things. Next podcast comes along, we're going to talk about, what happens when we're happily married and it's not happily ever after.
That's right.
What are the causes of that? Why do we sometimes see that after the I do's, that's when it's
just a nosedive.
So we'll hit that next time. And again, we're just so glad. We hope that many of you are going to take this journey with us and
That's right.
See that through this that God can do some things in your life and in your marriage,
Yes, He will.
in your family, in your home. That
Hey,
man,
we're witness to that.
it'll blow
He's
your
done
mind.
it for us, and if He'll do it for us,
Yeah,
He'll do it for you.
yeah, He will.
Yeah, God bless you.
Join us next time.
right.
Next week we'll come back to you with another Home Matters episode number 2. Join us weekly. Look for our episodes, and we're excited. Here we go.
All right.
God bless you. See you next time.